All right, welcome back to the Elias Macko Show. Our pleasure to welcome Éric Duhaime, leader of the Conservative Party of Quebec, back into our studios. Now, he announced last week that he's going to run in the upcoming by-election at Arthabaska. He's trying to get his party a seat in the National Assembly. Mr. Duhaime, Éric, welcome back to the show.
Always a pleasure.
So listen, you've gotten a lot of votes in this province,
yeah,
but not enough to actually... No seats, right? But listen, we have a system. First past the post, you got to win some ridings. You haven't done it yet. What are your odds here? And we don't know when the by-election is going to be, right? So we have no idea when it's
we know it's going to be within the next 4 months. It has to be,
okay,
but probably much sooner than that. But what's the odds? Well, currently the polls put the three parties, the CAQ, the Parti Québécois, and the Conservatives, neck and neck.
Yeah.
But when a leader runs, usually we have a premium. We have like 4 or 5% more.
Yeah.
So I think our odds are quite good at this point of time.
Do you hope that the residents in this riding in Arthabaska, do you hope that they're like, you know what, there's a little bit of unfairness, and maybe some people that wouldn't normally vote for the Conservative Party say, hey, he's the leader of the party, I'm going to give him a vote so he gets in the National Assembly?
I hope so, because, it's 530,000 people in Quebec who voted Conservative, and it's not normal that one person out of 7 votes for a party and you end up with 0 out of 125 seats. It's the worst distortion, democratically speaking, in Quebec's history, and hopefully people from Arthabaska could correct it. For those who don't know, Arthabaska is Victoriaville and 15 other cities around.
So I get your point, by the way, right? I can understand how frustrating it would be to have all these votes and it amounts to nothing in the National Assembly. But as we've talked about on this show, we have the system because you got to get at least a decent amount in a certain riding to win, right? To win, and I think it goes to having a broad appeal of a platform. Have you moved your party at all, platform-wise, to a position where it can win in ridings?
That's what we're doing. We've been working very hard, and you're right to point it out, because last time, as you know, I just arrived as leader like a year before the election. We only had one convention to vote for on all the proposals. Now we had much more time. We voted on several things. Our platform is much more comprehensive, and that's why I think we have better chances. And what people are talking to me in Arthabaska, it's not very complicated. It's mainly 3 things. It's housing, it's healthcare, and it's the economy, or the price of gas in particular, that now is a problem for them.
So on that platform, give our listeners, 1 or 2 things here. Maybe on healthcare, we were just having this discussion on healthcare. So many terrible stories from the Quebec healthcare system. Because I think with the Conservative Party, I think some people are worried about the privatization of healthcare.
It's not privatization. It's to add the private contribution to the healthcare system. We do believe in a public insurance. So we do believe that, yes, you can have access freely to healthcare, but it doesn't need to be the government that is the provider of services. If the private sector is able to do it for cheaper, you can go with your card, with your health card, to the private sector. If the public sector cannot offer you the services that you deserve in a reasonable time, then you can cross over, go to the private sector, and they'll have to pay for it. So like it works in the Scandinavian countries, actually, we're not reinventing anything. There's a lot of countries, actually the majority of the countries that work well in terms of healthcare systems are systems where there is private and public systems, and that's exactly what the Conservatives are proposing. We're the only party that's talking about it.
So let me ask you about the competition in this race. I know there have been some calls. Even Denis Coderre, everyone remembers Denis Coderre, sent out this call that basically the PQ shouldn't even run against you.
Yeah.
They should say, hey, you're the leader of a party in Quebec. You don't have any representation. Everyone should just put down their arms and let you into the National Assembly.
It's a tradition. When there's a by-election and a leader's running, it happened very often in Quebec's history. It did happen when the Parti Québécois didn't run anybody against Gabriel Nadeau-Dubois here in Montreal when he ran for the Québec Solidaire. The same thing happened to Pauline Marois when she became leader of the Parti Québécois. She ran in a by-election in Charlevoix. Nobody ran against her. The Liberals didn't have a candidate. It's going to happen in a few days when Pierre Poilievre is going to run for a new seat in Alberta. Mark Carney already said that he's not going to run a candidate, and he's going to make sure that the by-election is ASAP. Yeah. So it is a tradition, but obviously the other parties in this case are not going to respect it.
So of course in that case, in the Poilievre case, the riding he's running in, it's like 82% Conservative. He's going to win, so maybe there's a reason why. But in this case, for Paul St. Pierre Plamondon and the PQ, they want another seat, right? I mean, the party is still so small in the National Assembly, it fits in a minivan. So I guess you can understand why he too will want more representation.
No, but Mr. Plamondon understands also that he doesn't want to see the Conservative Party there because we're going to show that the Parti Québécois and the CAQ have a lot in common. And I think he doesn't want to highlight too much the points they have in common because on many, many issues, as you know, they vote like it's 72 or 75% of the time they vote together. So they'll do the Liberals, by the way, and the Québec Solidaire. There's always unanimous consent on many, many things. The price of gas right now, people listening who go to Ontario once in a while and realize that they pay 25 to 30 cents less in Ontario, well, you have to know that that's because of the carbon tax. They call it speed, but it's the carbon tax. Last month, the four parties voted unanimously in favor of it again because I came out against it. But then we conducted polls and realized 60% of Quebecers are against it. So there's not one single member in the National Assembly representing 60% of the people. That's why I'm asking the people in Athabasca to give us a voice.
So with that in mind, it certainly seems like things are changing when it comes to the development of oil and gas projects in Quebec. Your party has been at the forefront of that for
years.
For years, much longer than everyone else who seems to be jumping on board. But do you think what you're saying here, and obviously you're pointing to some polling on that subject, you think that's a winner with Quebecers, right? That they have changed a bit when it comes to oil and gas now?
Well, obviously what's happening in the south of our borders has changed the perspective of many people. We realize the importance of our energetic autonomy, and I think that's what people realize more and more every day. But, as conservatives, we're principled. I mean, I didn't change my mind because I saw a poll. I've always been in favor of exploiting our natural resources, including our oil and gas. It's not a matter of polls, but thank God, we are able now to convince more and more people, and we have to keep working.
Let me ask you about the Trump effect
Yes.
on a by-election, right? Because clearly we saw the Trump effect in the federal election, but in a provincial by-election, you have the PQ, they want that seat as well, and Paul St. Pierre Plamondon is like, referendum's coming. They haven't dropped that at all. They want a referendum. They want to win next year, and they want a referendum. But I just want to know, you've got the word conservative in your party, and I wonder if Donald Trump is hurting you and other brands that have the word conservative there.
I think it could help us. Why? Because I think that the issue that is concerning for people in Athabasca is the fact that Paul St. Pierre Plamondon is talking about a referendum. And for many people, and for me including, it means insecurity in terms of the trade between Quebec and the rest of Canada. We already have problems with the U.S. If we're starting to have problems with the East and West, our partners on both sides, who are we going to trade with? So I think that it's not playing good for Mr. Plamondon. And the fact that also that he's fighting with the Bloc Québécois right now, saying that they're not separatist enough, I don't think it's going to bring a lot of people more to his stand. That's why this weekend I opened up my arms and I said to the Bloc people, come over. Like, if you guys are not happy, and because what he's accusing the Bloc of is trying to make Canada work. Who's against that? How could he's saying...
Well, separatists.
No, but even if you're a separatist, you're first and foremost a citizen in your society, and you need to make sure that you want things to work better for everyone. Yeah. And now he's saying, no, you cannot collaborate with a government. You cannot try to make Canada work. You have to make sure that it's a chaos. Mm-hmm. Well, the strong majority of people do not want a chaos.
Does your party have the ground game necessary here? How much will you be going door to door? What's the strategy to when it does happen to make sure you can win that by-election?
We've been working on the ground for over a year. We have 1,400 members right now in Arthabasca. I've rented my apartment out there. I'm there every single week, and we have a lot of volunteers. We had close to 500 people yesterday at our rally that we had in Victoriaville. So I think we're going to win the battleground. But the challenge for us, because there is one and it's huge, our voters are much younger, as you know. Uh-huh. The latest poll conducted by the Parti Québécois that they released, they were trailing by 22% for the 50 years old and younger. So we're leading. As conservatives, that we have a lead of 22% for voters under 50 years old, but we're trailing by 20% for people from 60 and over, 65 and over. And as you know, older people vote more than young people. And that's one of the reasons also why I'm running, because as leader, I think I could motivate more our troops to go out and vote. And so that's why we're going to make a strong effort, and that's why the battleground is so important.
Éric, good luck.
Thank you so much.
Your efforts to get into the National Assembly. That's Éric Duhaime right there, leader of the Quebec Conservative Party.